Hey guys, I'm David. Welcome back to another Dwood project. Today we're going to build this solid oak thin blue line flag. Let's get started. Alright guys, today this flag was built out of solid red oak. I believe it's a mixture of red and white oak. I actually made it from wood flooring that I got at my local hardware store. It's some rough stuff that I got for $12 a bundle. It took me 2 bundles to get enough wood out of it to build this flag, and I think it turned out pretty good. I started out by first doing some tests to be able to get enough wood for this project by doing some board stretching. I know everybody says there's no such thing as board stretching, but hey, guess what? I did it. In some of these pieces, I had to take 2 pieces of this flooring and join them together. The best way I found to do that, and easiest way, was to use my biscuit joiner. I did some tests first, and as you can see here, it held up to 3 cans of paint, full cans of paint, on top of that before I took them off. Now, it did, however, break when I hit it with some force. But with a project like this, I don't need a lot of strength in that way. I just need the strength to be able to hold up for a glue up, and once it's made into a panel, it's a lot stronger based on the other pieces with it, just like a wood floor is in a house. Went ahead and took the biscuit joiner and did as I talked about, with joining end to end with biscuit joints, putting them in a clamp and letting them sit overnight. I then took those pieces out of the clamps along with other pieces that I had for the flag and sent them through the planer to mill them down to all even thickness. Onto the joiner where I could get one straight edge so that I could cut it to final width. I set my table saw so that I would first cut off the grooves that the wood flooring has on the end so I could get one flat side on that side. Unfortunately, my camera did not record when I glued up the panel for the union. That was out of some smaller pieces I had from this wood flooring, and I cut that union out on the CNC. I cut the stars out in the CNC about 1/8 inch deep. I then stained the entire union with India ink, which I'll link in the description below if you'd like to purchase some for yourself. Next, I took the union back to the CNC, did a pocket cut that just cut about a 1/16 off the top of those stars to reveal the wood. But you don't have to have a CNC to do this project. I sell template and stars for this size flag, plus many others on my website that anybody can do without a CNC. It's as simple as attaching the template onto the union, a little wood glue, and the stars, and placing them in the union. Let the stars dry, then you can pull the template off and you have a perfectly laid out union. Next, I'm getting my boards ready for the glue up. Here you see me marking one side with an I and the next side with an O. One is for in and one is for out. I'm sure you've seen in many other videos out there this method of getting boards perfectly joined so the angles meet up with no gap. I simply put the side saying inside to the inside, run it through the joiner, then flip it over and put the side with the O for outside pointing outward, and then run it again through the joiner. That way each one has an inside and outside so the angles offset each other and get a perfect joint. Next, I sand down the pieces to 220, blow them off with compressed air, and then spray some water on there to raise the grain back up, and then resand it to 320. Next, I cut biscuit joints in all the pieces to help alignment when putting them together. Some of these boards were slightly bent or cut. On this flag being solid oak, I wanted to use some black India ink instead of burning the stripes like I would on a pine flag. I love the way this oak grain looks with that black India ink soaking into it. I first used biscuit joints and joined the lower half together and did that in one glue up for a panel. Then I did the top section in a glue up. After those were dry, I glued all three pieces together, including the union. I was worried about the panel cupping or bowing with weather changes and humidity changes, and a trick I learned from Johnny with Crafted Workshop was to put some C-channel steel pieces on the back to help minimize that a little bit. I cut them to size, laid them out, figured out where I wanted to screw them in, drilled the holes, and then painted them. While that panel's drying, I decided to go ahead and start building the frame. I made this out of white oak that I'd purchased at my local hardwood dealer. I first cut them to rough length on the miter saw, then brought them to the table saw and cut them to width. The scrap I had left over from this board, I went ahead and cut into a French cleat 45-degree angle. This is what I'm going to use to hang this flag by. Assembling the frame was easy. I simply added some glue, drove in some brad nails to hold it, and then pre-drilled and screwed the frame together. I propped up the flag at about the height I wanted it in the frame, set the frame down over it, and again used some brad nails to hold it in place. I then flipped it over and added blocks all the way around the flag that I glued on. I tried to minimize any that would be in a place that would hinder the wood from moving. Next, I moved on to finishing. I sprayed clear satin lacquer with the HomeRite Supermax spray system, the sponsor of this video. About a year ago, I was contacted by HomeRite to try out their new Finish Max Super Sprayer. This is an all-electric HVLP type sprayer. As many of you know, I used to use a Harbor Freight air sprayer all the time, and I switched to this and love it. I've been testing it for about a year now, using it on all my flags, all my projects, spraying my clear lacquer that I use on almost all of them. I haven't tried any other products other than that yet, but I'm going to be doing paint soon. I'll be trying that on there. I think you can get this on Amazon for about $100. I'll leave the link in the description below. Okay guys, that does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and smash that like button. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. That really helps me know what kind of content you guys like.